Hey guys, so we're finally done with the ZMX-42 Firehawk by Mechanicore, and as you guys know already, this was a very difficult build, and the project itself had been parked for quite some time because I was missing some components that the factory had not sent, and now that they sent them, I was finally able to complete the final figure. And so let's take a closer look. We're going to divide this review into basically subcomponents. We'll take a look at each individual subpart of the robot and talk about its pros and cons, and then I'll give you the overarching idea about what my thoughts are for this, especially as a beginner gunpla builder, and even if you're an advanced, what you can expect from this review. So we're going to start off with a side profile here, focusing on the legs. So these are the legs, and they're a little bit hidden behind the skirt, but this is the upper portion of the leg, and I don't want to move this too much. These are the side skirts. The side skirts were beautiful, very difficult to put together. You need to use a lot of glue to hold things in place. And my biggest gripe with the legs, other than the general looseness of them, which is fixable if you have some kiki, is the knee. So the knee is actually made up of three components. One, and you probably can't see the second one here, and there should be a third component that then connects these two. If you are buying this piece to basically leave it as a statue that is immobile and you have no expectation for any articulation, you should have no problems building this leg, and you will enjoy this final product very much. However, because I initially bought, I'm a figure master at the end of the day. I love figures. Not really a big statue fan. And so if you have any plans to move this hinge joint at any capacity, expect that the knee will shatter. And this happened to me on both sides that I'm going to show you briefly as we rotate this robot about. On his arm, you see his shield. His shield is very well designed. The shield can open up and close, and it's actually where the vast majority of the controls for the electronics are housed. You have three buttons. This button turns on all the controls. This button allows you to dim and turn off the lights, and this allows you to turn off the sounds. The sounds in general and the electronics, the lighting is beautiful, but the sounds are just terrible for the ear. Like, it's just random noise. So I usually end up displaying the piece with the sound off and with the lighting turned on. To move on to the next piece, I'll just rotate it here for you for the back. The back is really where this thing shines. As you can see, I've applied a lot of panel lining and I put all the decals on there. This thing is gorgeous to look at from behind. And no pun intended. You have three thrusters. Each one of these three thrusters here, and each one of these individual thrusters is capable of lighting up a light green, as you've probably seen in previous videos. And then over here, I have to come at it from a very particular angle, is the original back skirt over here, which consists of three lights, 1, 2, and 3. All of those light up, as well as two exhaust panels, one on each side, here and here. Now, if you have done the electronics correctly, these lights should also light up over here and over here on the other side. There's also an extension mechanism whereby moving this thing up and down, it's very difficult to do with the camera in my hand right now. If you move this up and down, these essentially either extend to the way they are right now, or they can compress for a more sleek look. And then there's obviously the other here. You have the final Nightingale piece, which is just, I'm not sure what's the purpose of this thing. It just kind of looks cool. The next component that you'd really want to look at are the wings, and the wings are stellar. So the wings have a little bit of articulation. You have articulation here in this black piece that you can move up and down. You have articulation here. This thing can close. You also theoretically have a little bit of articulation here, but because of the way the system is designed, too much mobilization of those pieces can eventually lead to them separating. So I essentially glued these pieces down. And here's a top view of the wings for you to look at. The wings are articulable, so you can rotate them. And here I'm comfortably rotating them without too much worry. They could also theoretically rotate this way, so more of a yaw. But in that direction, I'm not really comfortable showing it on camera, nor am I comfortable doing it off camera, to be honest, because you can really expect the part to just splash all over the place. And then you have the upper body. So the upper body is okay. So Firehawk was originally designed to be a dual purpose mode between Sazabi and Nightingale. And as you can see, I'm displaying it here in Nightingale mode. So in Nightingale mode, this thing gains an extended cockpit for the chest, and it also gains basically a massive thruster, which is in a very inappropriate place, as well as extensions here on the skirts that you can remove. And as you can see, the skirts are also capable of carrying weapons. So let me just show you what happens. Oops. So there you go. That's essentially the Sazabi skirt. You can also theoretically remove this piece, but it's very finicky. And in my opinion, because the entire structure is really designed to be more of a statue than a figure, I would have glued these down there permanently and just have this kind of skirt going on. Unfortunately, this, the front part of the chest, cannot really turn back into Sazabi mode once you insert the pieces in, because you're going to be worried all the time that by pulling this out, it will eventually crack, and it will happen. So I basically left it there, and I highly recommend for you, before purchasing this, know that you're either going to display it in Sazabi mode or in Nightingale mode, and you're not going to get something in between. It's just going to look horrendous. As for the head is one of the worst designed parts for any Gunpla that I've built. And I know, although I'm an inexperienced Gunpla builder, this has been confirmed with many other builders that this is by far the worst part. I essentially had to glue the head down so that there's absolutely no articulation here, no looking left or right. There are many supposed articulable pieces. For example, this antenna can open up, and then this thing could slide up, revealing the person inside the cockpit. It should also, these side parts here on the side are also supposed to open up and down, but then the head no longer maintains a cohesive look, and instead you'll just end up gluing them down as I did. So this was by far the worst part. The ball joint just does not work. The electronics are extremely finicky, and you need to do a lot of work in order to get the head working. The head actually is the only part, along with the massive front thruster, to put it politely, are the only two parts that I haven't been able to get the electronics to work. The parts just don't fit, first from a mechanical perspective, and then electronically they require extensions, at least on mine. Other people have not had that problem with the electronic extensions, and I was just too lazy to do it. I said, at this point, I can consider this project a complete success. And so my final thoughts on this. If you're a beginner, stay away from it. If you're a beginner like me, who is a masochist to a certain degree and likes to take things to the maximum level and see how difficult things can be, you're not going to have a lot of fun. It's just not fun to build, and to display. The final product is very fragile and very static. If you expect to just put this as a display piece for you to display in the center of your Gunpla collection, and just for a comparison, here he is next to Sazabi, MG Sazabi, right there. So if you just expect to put him in the midst of your collection with very minimal handling, you are going to enjoy this a lot. He does have a bigger shield, and he does have a rail gun that he can carry. Unfortunately, he cannot carry them with these fingers, and you're gonna have to use plastic cement in order to create a new pair of arms that can solely carry his blaster. So to conclude, if you're a beginner, stay away from it unless you're a masochist to see exactly how difficult builds can be. Nothing fits from the first time. If you're an intermediate, I'd also say that you'd stay away from it unless you have the expectation that this is going to be a statue that you're going to place in the middle of your collection. If you're an advanced builder and beyond, well, you can probably even make these colors a lot better, but you're still going to be stuck with a lot of the mechanical issues. So again, the suggestion is, if you want this to just be a statue, an immovable piece in the middle of your collection, this might be slightly enjoyable. So I would give it a 6 out of 10 if you're an advanced builder, 4 out of 10 if you're an intermediate builder, and a 3 out of 10 if you're an advanced builder, if you're a beginner builder. And those are my thoughts on Firehawk, and I'll probably be parking this project permanently. I just consider it done at this point. And if you have any questions that you'd like to ask or anything of that nature, please leave a comment down below, and we'll be in touch. Figure Masters out.